again. Okay. So I was saying fertilizer industry is important for Pakistan because of a number of reasons. Number one, because Pakistan is an agricultural country. Our economy is based on the agriculture. So for the production of higher yields of agriculture, it's important to have a very, very good, well-established fertilizer industry. All right. So you need certain chemicals as raw materials for this industry. For example, nitrogen, gypsum, phosphorus, all right, sodium, potassium, ammonia. So all of these chemical elements are needed as raw materials or inputs for this industry. As far as the human factors are concerned, you obviously need capital, labor, machinery, power supply, infrastructure. Infrastructure in a sense, like obviously you need a flat land for that. You need water supply, you need electricity, you need efficient transportation facilities, all right. And then the outputs are obviously types of fertilizers. NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium fertilizers are very, very important. Urea fertilizer is important, all right. So yeah, then these three to four important, you should know the names of these companies that are working in Pakistan for the production of fertilizers: Engro, Fauji, Parker fertilizer companies, all right. You can use these names as examples in your answers. So yeah, you can expect questions from this particular topic on the definitions regarding the raw materials, regarding the areas where the fertilizer factories are located in Pakistan. So most of the fertilizer factories are in Punjab and the northern areas, all right. Punjab, why Punjab, guys? Any idea? Why is Punjab the main center for the fertilizer industries, especially Faisalabad, Lahore, and the areas towards Sindh Plains?
Sir, due to more demand in these areas.
Due to more demand and simply because of the Indus Plains, yeah, because of the agricultural lands located in Punjab. And yes, Abdurrahman, you're right, more industries as well. More industries in a sense, these areas are well connected. These areas are suitable for the establishment of these industries. They're well connected. Yes, Myra, there's a good network of roads, good transportation system. So these are multiple reasons as to why Punjab is a major center for all the industries, and especially for fertilizer industry because of the Indus Plains, because of the Punjab, upper and lower Punjab plains, okay? Okay, and why is it important that Pakistan manufactures its own fertilizers? Number one, because fertilizers are very expensive to import from other countries. I mean, it obviously impacts the balance of payments negatively. Secondly, because we are an agroeconomy, so we must produce our own fertilizers, because this demand for fertilizers is ever increasing in Pakistan. So if we just rely on other countries to provide us with this raw material, we'll never be able to be, I mean, we won't be self-sufficient. And considering that how important this particular output is for our industries, it's important that we stay self-sufficient and produce our own fertilizers. What environmental damage can occur when a new fertilizer factory is built in a rural area? um, Whether that is a fertilizer factory or any other industrial unit, you obviously need to clear land to build a factory. You need to produce, you need to build more roads, you need to build infrastructure, and an industry causes different environmental pollution such as water, noise, air pollution. And obviously the wastage is at times the toxic waste is very harmful for the people living in the surroundings, for the animals, for the habitat of the animals, for the water body. So, all right. So this is all the damage that any industrial unit can cause, especially fertilizer industries, because the when fertilizers they get washed away, they're obviously then flowed into the rivers, into the seas, because we're using very harmful chemicals over here, all right, unlike some of the other industries. So we're directly using nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and these chemicals could be very dangerous for humans as well as for the animals. Okay, here's a map. I want you guys to look at this map very carefully. It shows the distribution of fertilizer factories in Pakistan. Guys, what do you understand by looking at this map, and how would you describe the distribution of fertilizer industries?
They are mainly present near the rivers due to availability of water.
Yes, they are around rivers. All right. Anything else? There. Okay, I'm getting some answers in the chat. There's none in Balochistan. Yes, that is a good observation. Punjab has more fertilizer industries. Yes, guys, absolutely. There's none in northern areas. Yeah, okay. Yeah. What else? And could you also give your reasons for these observations? Why do you think there is no fertilizer industry in Balochistan? Why do you think there are more around the Punjab plains? Why do you think there's none in northern areas? Infrastructure of Punjab is better than Balochistan. Okay. Okay, when you talk about infrastructure, Isha, um, you'd have to also specify what type of infrastructure are you referring to over here? Yes, Punjab has more road links, less fertile land in Balochistan. Yes, less connectivity, less roads. Yeah, well stated points, Myra and Thine. Let's look at the answer now. Interestingly, the first point states that there's less number of fertilizer industries along the rivers. Okay, which is a very vague statement. I think you guys can ignore that, because what we see in the map is that the industries are alongside the rivers. They're mostly in the upper Indus Plains, north side of Sindh province, none in Balochistan and none in northern areas. There's one in KPK as well. Yeah, okay. A map description question. Yes, the map description questions are also very important. Has anybody tried attempting the geography paper that was assigned to you yesterday? May, June 2017, paper number 2. No, ये खामोशी ने मुझे बता दिया. अच्छा खैर. Guys, please try to attempt a paper, because the reason why I'm asking this is, once you've gone through an exam paper, you'll know the type of questions you get. Okay, you'll see a map part from each question. You'll see a description of graphs from every question that you'll be asked to attempt. You'll see a 6-mark question. So please go through the exam papers. All right, look at this map. The y-axis shows the production in million tons of fertilizers, and the x-axis shows the number of years here. So you see how from 1990 to 2008, the production of fertilizers is increasing. This is the general trend that I've just stated. It's increasing, but I want you guys to elaborate this graph on your own. By looking at this, how would you explain the trend of this graph from the years 1990 to 2008? I want any 4 points. You can talk about the general trend. You can talk about the detailed fluctuations that are taking place. All right. G.
The production of fertilizer is at peak in 2008.
Okay, it's at peak in 2008. Yes. And you can also refer to a figure maybe that it's around 5.7, 5.6, 5.7 to 8 million tons. Yeah. Anything else, guys?
It is leased in 1992 about 2.8.
1992. Yes, it's the least in 1992. Hmm. What else?
It fluctuated more in 1991 to 2000 then from 2000 to 2008.
Yes, you can see greater fluctuations from the years 1990 to 2000. And it's somewhat not constant, but a constant increase from 2000 to 2008. Yeah, it had an increasing rate from 1999. Yeah, it's constantly increasing from 1999 to 2008. Yes, there is no dip over there. There's a slight decrease after 2005, probably in 2006 or 7. Yeah. Hmm. You can, I mean, you can say that it was a little constant from 2006 to 2007, maybe. Yeah. Okay, and the general trend obviously is increasing. Although yes, it decreased till 1992 and then it started increasing, but a general trend was that the production was increasing throughout this time period. Okay, so let's look at the answer here. Okay, so the question नहीं था खैर. But you guys can expect such questions on the trends. By how much did fertilizer production increase from 2000 to 2008? So you just had to simply subtract the amounts from 2000 to 2008. All right. Be very careful, guys. Use, whenever you get such a question, use a pencil to mark the point on the line, on the curve or the line, and then against the X and the Y axis to get exact values. All right. But you guys will be given a range to answer from, because such errors are obviously expected. So 1000 to 1200 tons is the amount, is the production increase. Okay. Compare the production from 1990 to 2000 to that from 2000 to 2008. Okay. So this is a question that we were talking about. 1991 to 2000, how the fluctuations were greater, they were more variable, and 2000 to 2008, they were mostly stable. There was an increase, but a general, you could say, continuous increase, and there was no decrease over there. You can also refer to specific values for reference. Okay. What are the benefits of increasing fertilizer production for the people and the economy of Pakistan? We already know higher yields for the production of agriculture, more food production, more agricultural exports, fertilizers. We won't have to import fertilizers from other countries, and it'll affect the GDP of Pakistan. And obviously, we'll be able to produce more industrial goods. So because fertilizers, so see, for example, cotton industry needs cotton as a raw material, and cotton needs fertilizer as a raw material. So if you increase production of fertilizers, so all the industries, all the primary sectors and some secondary sector industries will directly benefit from this betterment of a fertilizer industry. Okay. All right. A 6-mark question here, guys. This is very important. I want you to respond to this. Please listen to it very carefully. Read these both of these views very carefully, and then you guys will be answering this question now. Chemical fertilizers to help increase agricultural production are one of Pakistan's main imports. These imports are expensive. Read the following 2 views. First view is that Pakistan should manufacture more of its own chemical fertilizers to reduce the need for importing them. That we should be self-sufficient, we should produce our own fertilizers, and we should not rely on other countries for these imports. Part B, statement B is that Pakistan should rely less on chemical fertilizers and reduce the need for importing them by using natural alternatives. That instead of using man-made chemical fertilizers, we must shift to natural fertilizers, and we should simply not produce them. So this is one way of reducing the imports. So first of all, before we discuss this question, I want you guys to just comment in the chat box either statement A or statement B, the statement that you agree with. Just comment down a letter and let me know which statement you guys think is a viable solution to reduce the imports.
Sir, can you please repeat the question?
It's there on the screen. We're discussing these 2 views. Number 1,
Okay.
either you can reduce the imports by producing more chemical fertilizers on your own, or secondly, you can simply stop producing these fertilizers and rely on natural resources. So let me see, what are you guys responding to? A, B, B, A. Okay, we have the ratio equal for now. Two votes for A and 2 votes for B. Another vote for A. So 3 for A and 2 for B. Another for A. 4 for A and 2 for B. Achha, so all of the students who have stated A, okay, there's another vote for A. So we have 5 votes for A and 2 for B. So majority wale jo hain, people who are supporting A, can you guys quickly give a reason? Why do you think A is the most viable solution?
By using the chemical fertilizer, we can improve our crop yield, which can be exported to foreign exchange and make our balance of payments positive.
Somewhat correct. But again, how are you reducing the imports? By manufacturing own chemical fertilizer, job availability will be increased, less balance of payment. Okay. Guys, abhi tak you're not answering the question. The question is that the statements you guys have agreed with states that we should produce our own chemical fertilizers. So just to reduce the need to import them so that we can be self-sufficient by producing our own chemical fertilizers. Why have you agreed with the statement? Why do you think this is a good way to reduce the imports?
It's not my vote, but I know a point. Can I?
Yeah, sure.
Pakistan has a large reserve of natural gas at Sui,
Absolutely.
which is raw material.
Yeah, that's one of the possibilities. We can use our natural reserves to base as raw materials for this industry. We're self-sufficient. So if you talk about natural gas, you can talk about the other chemicals, the resources that are there in Balochistan. We can exploit those resources and use them as raw materials for this industry. Yeah. So ek to ye ho gaya. Then you can talk about the industrial sectors that we have in Pakistan. For example, Faisalabad, Lahore. You guys just told me all of these points yourself. They're so well connected, so well linked, and they're so good for these industries. I mean, these areas are ideal for the establishment of such fertilizer industries. So that is a possibility, and this is how we can reduce our dependence on the imports. So now students who've agreed with B, your reasons.
We have ample amount of manure from the large livestock sector and large amount of waste from the agricultural sector as well.
Yeah.
And use of fertilizer can also be reduced by other methods, for example, planting legumes and all.
All right, absolutely. That is a one of the reasons here. And other than that, you can talk about the harmful impact of chemical fertilizers here. That's one way of refuting the argument. Okay. So remember, in a 6-mark question, you not only just present your side of the picture, you'll also be refuting the other arguments. So for example, look at the points here. chemical fertilizers, because you can talk about how the areas that we have for the establishment of such factories. Let me see कौन सा point है. Yeah, okay. So this point is basically for the for statement number A, and it's basically refuting statement B, that we cannot use animal waste as fuels as it's not sufficient. Livestock sector itself suffers from a lot of problems and it's not very well developed. You can talk about this in both of these points. I mean, if you're going with statement B, you can talk about how well developed livestock sector is, but you'll also have to justify, all right? And if you're agreeing with statement B, you may just say that livestock sector is not developed if you present a good justification, all right? Okay, guys, please go through these points once. I'm going to give you guys 2 to 3 minutes to read.
Can we like justify this by saying that the natural gas that is being used for the fertilizers, we can save it by using natural alternatives, and that could be used as a source of fuel, and we won't need cow dung as a fuel in rural areas.
Definitely, you can. All right, guys, we're moving on. Iron and steel industry, a very, very important industrial unit for Pakistan. So iron steel industries are considered to be one of the most important industries because of their contribution to most of the other industries. Considering the industrialization in Pakistan, the urbanization, iron and steel are used as raw materials for the construction industry, for most of the other industries as well. So यहाँ पे you should know that Pakistan established its first steel mill named Pakistan Steel Mill Corporation in December 1973 during the tenure of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, which was considered to be a very big milestone for the country. So Pakistan Steel Mill is located in Karachi. It's near Karachi at the Kharo Creek. And yeah, so it produces 1.1 million tons of steel annually. So this is the biggest steel mill corporation in Pakistan. So you can look at this iron steel industry as a system over here. The natural and physical inputs, flat land, you need manganese, coal, anthracite, chromite. As the raw materials, you need obviously capital, labor, machinery, power, technology, transport systems, skilled workers as the human factors, and the outputs are all the construction materials, slabs, sheets, plates. All right. Why Pakistan Steelworks is called a large scale industry? Number one, because of the raw material. You need a great amount of raw material for a steel mill. The production is obviously large. It's the outputs are greater, and the infrastructure you need for a steel mill corporation is a lot more than a regular industry, because you need a greater area. You need more facilities such as the power supply, electricity supply. You need a larger workforce for it. All right, and since the products of steel mills are standardized, you have to follow some very strict criteria. Guys, standardization process is a term related to civil engineering and architecture, which basically means that the products that you produce are on a standard criteria that is set for your particular country or for a set of countries. And you have to follow this process of standardization for the production of such products that are used for as building components for the architectural projects, for the construction industry. All right. So example देता हूँ, if you आपने देखा होगा brick का size is same wherever you go in Pakistan. You won't see smaller bricks or bigger bricks other than this regular size of a brick that is used throughout Pakistan. Yeah. And you might see different sizes of bricks in other countries. But but in a particular area, in a particular country, you'll see that those sizes will exactly be the same for that area. So that is called standardization. So steel industry, because it is a very important sector for the construction industry, standardization is important. And when standardization is applied, you have to follow very strict criteria for that, okay? Because you have to meet those standards in order to get your product considered for the market. Okay, other than that, name 3 materials used in the Pakistan steel mills, and why are most of the raw materials imported? Yeah, so one of the disadvantages of a steel mill is that the raw materials that the raw materials that are needed for this industry are imported. We're not self-sufficient in those. Okay, now here's a 6-mark question from this extract over here. Listen to it very carefully because you guys will be answering this now. Okay. Imports of steel increased by 37% from 2004 to 2005 as a growing amount of machinery and industrial steel products flowed in. This is more than any government predictions. Explain the advantages and disadvantages of increasing steel production in Pakistan. So they're telling you about how from the year 2004 to 2005, the amount of steel produced increased by 37%. And this was greater than the prediction made by the government during those years. So guys, what are the advantages and disadvantages of increasing steel production? I want 3 advantages. Pakistan has to import the raw materials to produce more steel, resulting in negative balance of payment. Okay, this is a disadvantage. All right, yes, this is right. That since we have to import most of the raw materials, it results in a negative balance of payment. Employment opportunity, yes, that is that's an advantage because you need a very large workforce for this. So having a steel mill in a particular area will obviously need greater. I mean, it'll need a lot more people to be employed for this industry compared to a regular industry. Lack of machinery, yes. Less imports. Guys, hold on for a second. All right. So we won't be dependent on other countries. Lack of land for developing more steel mills. All right. A lot of land is required to build steel mills. Yes. You will have to disturb the urban settlements in order to clear lands for the steel mills. Yeah. More development in tool manufacturing and machinery for agriculture, so won't need to import. Yes. Saves foreign currency, meet the growing demands for building houses, slabs, and girders. Yeah, yeah. All right. All of the points are very valid. Land and air pollution. High cost of imported iron ore. So you guys are telling all the advantages and disadvantages mixed up. So just know how to elaborate. Points are very right. Okay. सबने सही बातें बताई हैं. Just know that how you have to elaborate on these points. So you can have a look at the advantages and disadvantages in case you've missed out any. Guys, these are a few examples of the steel mill corporations in Pakistan. Heavy Mechanical Complex in Taxila, HMC, Pakistan Machine Tool Factory, Heavy Foundry and Forge Complex, Karachi Shipyard and Engineering Works. You can just know 2 to 3 of these examples for reference in your answers, okay? Guys, we're almost done. Please let me know if there's any question. No? All right. And please be sure to submit your geography paper May, June 2017 on the Google Classroom or in the WhatsApp group. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Allah Hafiz.